I've been asked many times over the years, Tim, what is the difference between leading and managing, and what should I do when? It's a good question. What I want to do is to let you know the difference between leading and managing by providing you 4 examples. If you supervise any number of people at all, using these examples will let you know instantly the difference between leading and managing, and also leave you an understanding of what you should do when, and even more importantly, what you have been doing in the past. So you might need to make some adjustments. The fact of the matter is, people want to be led more now than managed. However, let's not in any way diminish the fact that managing is an art, and it must be done if you're supervising people, because you're ultimately responsible for results. So let's take a look at the first one of these 4 definitions of the difference between leading and managing. Number 1 is leaders provide light and managers provide heat. Now, that's kind of an intuitive definition of the difference between leading and managing, because you can use this as sort of a litmus test. Ask yourself, after a meeting with your team or your group or even one single employee, as a result of the meeting that I just had, did that employee feel light or did they feel heat? And what was my intention? Just asking yourself that question will give you an idea of how you've been acting throughout the day. What happens when people get too much heat or too much management or micromanaging? Well, any organism that gets too much heat becomes seared and becomes dried out, becomes burned out, if you will. So leaders provide light and managers provide heat. The second definition is this: that managers, when we are managing, we're making sure that things are done right. But when we're leading, we're making sure that the right things are being done. We're making sure when we're leading that the group, the individual, maybe the entire hospital staff, is not getting caught up in what Stephen Covey calls the thick of thin things. So when we're managing, we're making sure that things are done right. When we're leading, we're making sure that the right things are done. Now, the third difference is this. When we are managing, we're interested in making money. There's nothing wrong with making money. As a matter of fact, profit to a practice or profit to a hospital, even a nonprofit, is as vital as breath to a body. So your management activities are designed to ensure that there's a profit. So you manage for results. When you lead, however, what you're trying to do is make meaning, not money. What does it mean to work in your practice, your clinic, your hospital? What does it mean to work in healthcare? That's important to remind people who work in your area that they are in the business and the art and the science of healthcare. So when you lead, you make meaning. And finally, the fourth way to understand the difference between leading and managing is this: someone will appoint you to manage a group of people, but only that group will decide whether or not you're their leader. That's an important distinction. It is entirely possible that you can be the manager of a group and not be that group's leader. Let's hope that doesn't happen to you. But if you pay attention to the first three parts of the definition that I just told you about, you probably won't have any difference. So, 4 definitions of the difference between leading and managing. What I suggest that you do every day is this: take 15 minutes for yourself. And I know you look at me and say, Tim, are you crazy? Have you been in our hospital? Have you been in our practice office? Where in the world am I going to get 15 minutes? I'll tell you where you're going to get it. You're going to take it wherever you want. You're going to take 15 minutes out of every day. If you don't think you can afford it, think about this. 15 minutes, which you should take for yourself every day, is approximately 1/100th of a day. Do you think you're worth 1/100th of a day for yourself? I do. And by the way, for those of you who are accountants, you've probably already done the math. 15 minutes a day is actually 1/96th of a day. But just for purposes of this, let's round up to the accountants. Now, take the 15 minutes and ask yourself a number of questions. How much heat did I provide today? How much light did I provide? Was it enough? Was it the appropriate amount? In addition, as you take 15 minutes every day for yourself, you can ask yourself some other questions. But the whole point is take 15 minutes, 1/100th of a day, that is selfishly, totally, and completely yours. You deserve it, and actually the other people around you will be much better for it. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll talk to you again in a little while.